Welcome back to Blood, Guts, and Social Commentary. Today, Craig and I finish up our look at horror movies that were never released. And the last one is Livid, aka Lividé, because it's Livid with an E at the end for the second title, from 2011. Helmed by the French duo that brought us Inside, Livid played at a handful of festivals around the globe. The story follows a convalescence nurse as she and some friends break into the home of an elderly disabled patient in hopes of robbing the place. They soon discover that the house holds some very dark supernatural secrets. Once this movie gained minor acclaim in the US, there was a remake and international distribution rights were purchased by the Weinstein Company, and they're apparently holding the release of the original French film with the intention of eventually remaking the movie in the United States. So this one, it might come out if they ever get around to doing a remake, is basically what they're saying. Because we almost saw this with Troll Hunter, because, I remember Troll Hunter got announced and I felt like maybe within a month, they were announcing a remake of it. Because, Troll Hunter it got a pretty decent video-on-demand release, but that was right when video-on-demand was really starting to gain popularity. Because I saw that in Hobo with a Shotgun that way. You will see this from time to time when a foreign film, they think it's going to do well in the United States, they'll kind of buy it up and then re-release it later, just closer to when the remake's going to come out. You also see this with music as well. I remember when Amy Winehouse hit big, when I was working at a record store, they brought out, I think it was Hey Frank, was it her first album? So whatever her first album was, they brought that back into print because she had just released the bigger album, if that makes any kind of sense.
No, that does make sense.
Because I know we kind of addressed this a little bit as well in the Lost to VHS episode, because I said something about Bad Taste was out of print for a while, but then Peter Jackson got Lord of the Rings, and everybody was all of a sudden, oh my god, Peter Jackson. So people wanted to revisit his earlier work, which just so happened to be his splatter films.
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
Yeah, it's weird to look back at Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles and all of that and go, who looked at this and went, that guy would be perfect for Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, you look at that and I was like, oh, okay, especially Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead, is just probably one of the goriest films ever made. Just with all the blood that was in there, and the gore. It was just he would be perfect for Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the major crime in Dead Alive is it never got an episode of Monster Vision when Joe Bob Briggs would do the blood counter. Oh, shit.
Yeah, there was blood stats. I was I want to see that for Dead Alive. That would be amazing. Where Joe Bob Bridges was listing out this. I know they did one for Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, I was just about to say that would break the racket, really.
Yeah, I think it does hold records for being the most gallons of blood or something like that. It might have been broken by now, but it had that for a good long while.
That it did, yeah.
Yeah, because everybody knows the famous weed whacker scene where it's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Films are all just kind of what they are. They're shot, or some of them are near completion, some of them are fully complete and just got picked up on the festival circuit and somebody's got their hooks into them and won't let it out for a while. Companies have various reasons for doing that, and since we have seen this resurgence in orphan titles of titles that were older and kind of got abandoned either because the company fell or because whoever made it died, or just nobody's really sure who has the rights because it can get really tricky really fast, especially when we're talking about things that were by fly-by-night companies that were created, home video, or smaller companies that did grindhouse type movies and only really did prints. Those things, they didn't necessarily copyright things very well. Even Roger Corman, who is notoriously cheap, has lost a couple of films to public domain just because he didn't think to protect them and think that was going to be an asset down the line.
Yeah.
The biggest one on that one is Night of the Living Dead. Romero could have lived off residuals on that alone had it not fallen into public domain.
Yeah, that's for sure. But he gained something else other than the financial aspect. He gained the popularity of film and the respect.
Absolutely, because Night of the Living Dead, you can argue, it would have been a classic zombie film either way, but it being on every single Halloween definitely didn't hurt it.
No.
Because that's It's a Wonderful Life, where everybody associates that movie with Christmas, and the reason why is because it was public domain and companies are cheap and just started running that all the time at Christmas, and it found an audience that now has this very nostalgic connection to it because because they saw it all the time growing up. So, that movie's gonna live on forever just because of that. Same with Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, it'll definitely have its reputation, and it'll definitely have its popularity for years to come.
Yeah, because Night of the Living Dead, if memory serves, it was they didn't put a copyright notice at the beginning of the film, is how it fell in. Because most other films, it's they didn't renew after X amount of years, and it falls after that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, these ones, I'm not sure what the legal status is, since they never fully got done. Because, there are some wilder stories about films like this. The lady that directed Decline of Western Civilization, I believe the movie was supposed to be called Uncle Tom's Fairy Tales.
You're right on that, yeah.
Yeah, it was starring Richard Pryor, and his wife at the time, or girlfriend at the time, said he was spending more time on the movie than with her. So, as far as everybody knows, he burned The Only Master. It's like, it's burn up.
Yeah, nobody's ever gonna see it.
Yeah. There's rumors that other ones might have existed, but who knows? I know I mentioned the controversial art timeline, The Day the Clown Cried, which isn't really a horror movie in the traditional sense. It's all, Jerry Lewis plays a clown, he gets pulled into a concentration camp because he's Jewish, tries to entertain the kids, and I'm like, well, that just sounds like life is beautiful, and then they tell you, it's like, and he leads the kids into the showers, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why that one never saw the light of day. But there's like so many rumors swirling around it. Because there's the, everything was destroyed, there's the he has a copy but it's locked up and nobody's ever gonna see it. And then there was this one weird story about a group in New York had stolen it and was doing these like super underground showings of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that, but...
Well, I find that one kind of hard to buy. I'm like, I don't care how well you search anything and everything, somebody's getting footage some way, somewhere. Period.
Oh, yeah. It's bound to happen.
Look at Comic-Con and all of that. It's gotten to the point where studios have really just given up trying to take down the footage that gets bootlegged at those, because they're just like, fine, we're going to announce it anyway later on.
Well, especially like streaming sites like YouTube, it just get mirrored all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah, once it's up, especially on something big like that. How many kids have gotten caught like doing terrible, horrible things that they thought they deleted? No, they didn't. No. Well, it's not great that they did those things. It's kind of nice that they were stupid enough to film it so we could catch them easier.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it on this one, unless you had any more thoughts on the big bad companies not giving us our movies.
I think you pretty much said it all.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I'm gonna try and do like a 7-day straight upload, so these might all come out at the same time. I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, it was great working with you again.
Yeah, it's great working with you too.
Alright, you have a good night.
Alright, you too. Bye-bye.
This concludes our look at horror movies that were never actually released by the studios. If you like what you heard, please give us a comment, like, subscribe, something like that. If you didn't like what you're hearing, please drop a comment, let us know. Did we forget something? Did you find a release of these somehow? Just let us know. Thank you.